Town of Sheldon Selectboard and Water Commissioner meeting for Monday, September 22nd, 2025. On our agenda for this evening, under new business, regional plan update and Tier 1B Act 250 jurisdiction opt-in. We got a highway department report, town administrator's report, green list errors and omissions, review of the telecommunication services, personnel, executive session may be necessary. We need to sign and approve the minutes of the September 8th meeting. Sign and approve payroll warrant 2531, accounts payable warrant 31703. We have a letter to review supporting FCIDC grant application. Under old business, public health complaints, recreation facilities at Sheldon School, Mill Street Sewer Project update, Salt Shed Project update. Is there anything else we need to add to the agenda for tonight?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Alright. We will jump right into the regional plan here. Heather,
Thanks.
how are you this evening?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good. Nice to see you all. Appreciate you having me here. Oh good, you have a map.
Yeah, I printed a couple of them. Here's on there too. So those are those, and then this is what the proposed zoning is, just it's useful. And this is the supporting documents that came with this. I didn't distribute my made up back, but
I brought it.
Yeah, you've got it. They can figure out where I was thinking.
Yeah, I brought it, ready to go. Sorry, it's fun. So I came to see you, I don't know if you remember, I think it was winter.
Right.
And we talked about how we're updating our regional plan, and now regional plans are going to do a couple of things that they didn't do before. One is to set designated areas for the state designation program, which makes certain areas eligible for incentives like historic tax credits or extra points on grant applications. And Sheldon already has 2 designated village, one in the Springs and one in Sheldon Creek, so you're already in that program. What's changed is that instead of Sheldon having to apply individually, we're now going to map it in the regional plan. And once our regional plan is approved by a new state board, then that's it. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to reapply. You don't have to, no extra work on Sheldon's part. So that'll save some time for you and the other 250 towns across the state from having to do that individually. The other thing that our new regional plans will do is set a new way that Act 250 would apply in specific areas, and I'll talk about which areas those are in a minute. And Act 250 will only apply differently if you as the select board choose to make that happen. So under the current standards, if you build 10 units of housing or more, you have to go through Act 250. With this new process, if the town chooses, then certain areas of town you could build up to 50 units on up to 10 acres without needing to go through Act 250. So the whole idea is to just remove one barrier for housing development. In the areas that are eligible are per the map that we have in the regional plan, and that's what you were just given before you today. Is it okay if I come up?
Yeah.
That might make it a little bit easier. In case you want to follow along. You want to follow along too. So if you look at this map here, the village center and the village area, so the maroon and the pink areas here, those areas on the map are the places that are eligible for both the state incentive program, so it's bigger than we have currently now, and those are also the areas that are eligible for the different Act 250 jurisdiction. So if you vote tonight to do what's called opt-in, then when our regional plan is hopefully approved by this new state board, which we're aiming for the spring of '26, there's a really long process we have to follow. Then those areas, you could build up to 50 units of housing on less than 10 acres without needing to go through Act 250. Realistically, like in a lot of our spaces in our region, we don't think people are gonna build 49 unit housing developments, but there's gonna be, you know, potentially maybe somebody would build 13 or 14 or 18 as opposed to 9 to avoid Act 250. So we're really hoping it'll make a marginal difference, especially in places like Sheldon where you do have municipal water. So that does help.
Does that have, is that a requirement to have municipal water and sewer to be eligible?
You have to have either water or sewer or good septic soils. And so that, we use their soil maps across the state that we use, they're general, but they're pretty good. And so between Sheldon's infrastructure and the soils, we were able to map these areas here. And we have been talking to Matt, because Matt and I think Nancy for the planning commission, we're talking about making these areas a little bit bigger, and I think we're gonna be able to accommodate most, if not all of that.
So we talked about this a little bit at your last meeting, and those were just kind of questions as I looked at the map, I kind of was comparing it to what our local zoning districts are for the villages, and those districts are pretty much based on where the municipal water and sewer systems are. And so looking at the Sheldon Springs Village area and center, it's pretty much the same as the zoning map. But looking at but with a couple, it's pretty much the same as the zoning map. But looking at the creek, there's sort of a difference there where part of the village that has obviously in the creek we do not have municipal sewer, but there is municipal water. And part of the area that has municipal water is classified as rural general, and another part that has municipal water is designated as agricultural. So it's not in the village zone at all. And I'm not saying that it has to, but I think we discussed a little bit, just trying to understand where the rural general classification comes from. Does that have any meaning in terms of these land use things? And I had a conversation with Greta Brunswick about this, and my understanding from that conversation is that the state has designated programs for the villages, and then obviously other parts of the regional plan are identifying resources to conserve, like farmland and forestry and natural, waterways, floodplains, etc. So the rural general is kind of like what's left after it is my understanding. So it's not really a designation with any particular meaning, and I think after talking to Nancy about why, I think regional planning had met with our local planning commission, and I think they broadly agreed with the way the map was drawn here. And I don't know if they were focused on the perception of whether there would be, I don't know if they were focused specifically on the Act 250 issue and just thought that the areas of the village that are zoned, the areas of Sheldon Creek that are zoned for village, that are outside of the designated areas on this map, I don't know if they just anticipated, I think they were A, concerned about the farmland up on the east side of town, and then B, didn't think that more development was likely out there. But I guess my question was thinking about the other impacts of the village designation, for historical credits or grant programs or something. Is there other compelling reasons why maybe we should include part of that area as village? Because there's not, as you drive through there doesn't seem to be much of a reason why you would drive along one place as opposed to another. The density of houses kind of continue, at least on one side of the road, continues for quite a while in the same pattern. And obviously there is a farm on the other side of the road, kind of, but I guess the idea was, is there some other reasons, even if Act 250 development is not likely in that area, are there maybe other reasons why the town might want to designate that as a village area for other benefits of the designation program? And I guess I thought we should probably have a fuller conversation of that before we just went ahead with what the, although, as I said, I think that was Nancy explained to me what the planning commission thought about it.
Yeah.
And so, we had a certain discussion here at the select board meeting last time, and in light of that, I thought we should ask those questions, so. I don't know if there's anything more to add to that.
You're talking about the change in the designation going up Crow Hill.
Yeah.
Going up Crow Hill, there's none of that here.
Right, and the area on where the,
Right, it's been changed. It's changed from this zoning map. It's got the.
Well, it doesn't-
It's in that rural general, which, like on Bouchard Road, there's, and then going up Pleasant Street, there's like, doesn't look much different than the rest of the village, but it's in as rural general. And it's municipal water all the way up through there.
Yeah,
And then municipal water goes all the way up to the top of Crow Hill. Or up to we pump water up to there's municipal water up Crow Hill, and that's not in this map that I.
it's not in this map as part of the village area.
Yeah,
correct? Yeah,
I don't know, it is, but it isn't. It's got I don't know what rural general, what is that? What
It's
is
just-
that term, rural general?
rural general just basically means those areas that are developed with housing, but it's not a mixed use area, it's not necessarily connected to the village in terms of being walkable or being.
Oh, I see. I see.
So it's those places that people live.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
primarily it's residential. Yeah. And I
Okay.
think that is why, because that it is so far from the village itself, even though it has water, that's one of the reasons why we go all the way up there, is because of just the distance from the village itself.
Okay.
But at the same time, I think there is some space to expand the village area a little bit in that direction, as well as on Sheldon Woods Road going down a little bit further.
yeah, so for example, the cemetery property is not included in the village area. Not that anybody's gonna build houses there, but it's part of the village. That is a walkable area, sort of.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there are a couple houses out past the cemetery that are kind of contiguous with the rest of the village.
The red, what is maybe it's a dumb question, but I don't know. It says existing interim Act 250 exemption area.
Yeah, so
And then you got this red, so that red circle that goes all the way around there. What is that?
so
What-
the
Explanation on that?
sure. So the law that was passed a couple of years ago
Mm-hmm.
recognized that there'd be a little while before all these new plans were in place. And so it just said across the state, everywhere within a quarter mile of existing designated villages,
Okay.
we're gonna apply this Act 250 exemption. So that is in place until January of '27.
So that's just a temporary.
That's just temporary, yeah, and that's gonna go away. So if you're in that circle and you got plans, January 27th is your deadline.
Oh, so that's, right now,
Right now,
that is in force.
yeah,
or-
right now,
or-
everything within those circles, both the creek and the
Right,
springs.
so unless and until we designate what you're here to try to map today,
Yeah,
that's actually where it is.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. But we can't draw it that big for the regional plan because the law has certain criteria that we have to follow. And so we can't draw it that big for the regional plan, so if you are in that area and you have plans, this is the time.
Okay, so, okay, I just wondered. So in the end, that red line will get put around what we designate.
Yeah, we put around the maroon and the pink.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Unless we wanna expand some of the,
Yeah,
unless we wanna expand some, unless we make adjustments to it.
right, in which we can.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that was another question I had, was
Yeah.
like, is this forever here?
right, so here,
Yeah.
with the new law, it created like, honestly, 6 months worth of process for us to adopt the regional plan. Once we even get to this point, we've got 6 months of process left. So what happens next is the board on Wednesday, our regional planning commission board, will be asked whether they are comfortable enough with the regional plan as it is to send it to the state board that has to now approve it for a preliminary review. So they're gonna do a preliminary review. We're gonna keep making changes before we submit the plan for Rio sometime in February or March, because it's gonna take them 2 months to review our plan at this phase. Then we've gotta have all our required public hearings. So our goal is to have these maps in final stage by end of December at the latest, hopefully sooner.
That's
Yeah, so even if you vote tonight to opt in to this activity designation, we're gonna continue to work with Matt and the planning commission and you to adjust those lines.
adjust the
Yeah.
boundaries.
Yeah, as far as we can go reasonably within the requirements of the statute.
Or the board could just vote not to opt in.
You could absolutely vote not to opt in, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
But-
if you don't opt in before we submit the plan for real, then, if you decide to opt in later, we'll have to do a full plan amendment process, so it'd be like a 6 to 8 month process to opt in at a later date.
In all likelihood,
Yeah.
not really gonna change a whole lot.
But with respect to the other parts of the designation, besides the, whether the board decides to opt in or not to the Act 250 thresholds, the other parts of the designation program would apply.
Absolutely.
Would apply.
Yes.
So I guess that's sort of, I know that Act 250 is getting all the spotlight and headlines, but I was trying to think about, like, there may be other reasons why the town might wanna include some of these areas in the
Yeah.
village, just for, so I'm just
And one
thinking,
of them is like, you have some additional flexibility for setting speed limits within these designated
yeah,
areas. That's a reason.
right, and that's a very current issue on that particular
I'm sure it
area.
is.
So is that, if we opt in, is this gonna help developers in their, I mean, if we did have a developer in one of these,
Mhm.
is that gonna help in their effort to get permitted? And is it gonna make things easier for people to get permits typically, or?
I think so,
do
because they won't have to go through Act 250.
Okay,
And so it eliminates one potential layer of review that adds cost and time.
okay.
And time is money,
That's right.
especially when you're in a short construction season like we do. So, I think it really does make a difference. It's not, certainly not the driver of housing costs, but it is one piece of the puzzle that is actually within our control, which many of the other ones are absolutely not within our control.
Sure.
I did have one question I forgot to ask. The choice is stick with 10 or 50. There's no intermediate level that you can set it at?
No,
Right,
no,
yeah.
there's no in between.
Okay, that's a
Right. Everybody's gonna build
clarity on that.
Yeah, and I do wanna stress, that nothing about opting in changes your local regulations. So all the projects would go through all of your local regulations, it doesn't supersede that at all. So all your local regulations stay in place. If it needs a wetlands permit, or if it needs a stormwater permit, or endangered species, or any of those things, floodplain stuff, that all stays in place as well. So all it does is eliminate Act 250.
Yeah.
So the question that the NRPC is requesting that you vote on is a resolution here that I forgot to print for you, but I can read it for you if you want.
Okay. Yeah, you go
And
ahead.
I'll apologize in advance, because there's a lot of
But-
statutory required language.
So, right, so this is having to do with the Act 250 designation, thresholds, so. Whereas, in accordance with Vermont Statute 10 VSA Section 6033, a municipality may request Tier 1B status for the purposes of Act 250 jurisdiction. Whereas the municipality has a duly adopted and approved plan and a planning process that is confirmed in accordance with 24 VSA Section 4350. Whereas the municipality has adopted permanent zoning and subdivision bylaws in accordance with 24 VSA Sections 4414, 4418, and 4442. Whereas the area excludes identified flood hazard and fluvial erosion areas except those areas containing pre-existing development and areas suitable for infill development. Whereas the municipality has water supply, wastewater infrastructure, or soils that can accommodate a community system for compact housing development in the area proposed for Tier 1B. Whereas the municipality has municipal staff, municipal officials, or contracted capacity adequate to support development review and zoning administration in the Tier 1B area in accordance with 6033C, Section 6, and as evidenced by all the following. Appointed or contracted zoning administrator, may be permanent or acting, a yearly budget to support administration of development regulations, including enforcement or appeals as needed. Municipal staff and volunteers can attend trainings as requested. The zoning administrator and development review board regularly process applications within the required timelines. Technical assistance is available for projects that exceed normal capacity or acknowledged by one or more of the following, whether it's regional plan, Vermont League of Cities and Towns, the town attorney, or other. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the municipality hereby requests to have the downtown, village center and village area mapped for Tier 1B status adopted at a duly noticed public meeting held on would be September 22nd, 2025. So the purple and pink areas on that map would be the quote-unquote Tier 1B areas.
But they may be adjusted.
Yeah,
in
the pink areas will be
incoming,
expanded
they may be adjusted in incoming meetings before you actually finalize.
before we finalize the plan, yeah.
Right, so I'll move that.
Alright, so I have a motion to move the resolution from regional planning. I have a second on that?
I second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Alright.
Oh, we're in trouble now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're in the big red circle trouble before, and now you're.
No, it's probably,
If we can, Greg and I talked about today, if for
Okay.
some miracle, we can come up with what should be the final place
Sure, yeah,
by a Wednesday board meeting,
okay, yeah,
then when the board votes to send it for preliminary review, we'll do it with that change, and
Sure.
then we'll be all done.
yeah, right, okay. Yeah, the specific reason why I was thinking about it, but wasn't really had to do with the Act 250 thing, it was, traffic studies. We have a stormwater plan from 10 years ago that contemplated a pretty significant stormwater project in that area.
And that would be grand
So,
incentive,
so
yeah.
I was kind of concerned about that.
Yeah.
And just also, like I said, it's pretty much the same character as you go up the hill. I mean, it is slightly less walkable than the flat area of the village, but people do walk down the hills. We can improve on that, I guess, but anyway, that was sort of my concern about that.
Yeah, so I think we talked about today,
Yeah.
I think we can do most of it, not all of it, but most of it, so we'll work on it.
okay,
Great, thank you for having me.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
thank you, I'll move things right along. Somebody on it.
Nick?
Hi, Nick. Trying to get everything done before I got here. I got through one thing.
Yeah. Alright.
Opted
Into
to
the highway department report.
thing here, so. Yo. Okay.
driving this week. I put 10 hours on today. Apparently it got dropped off over the weekend, so it was there 6 weeks for us. Seems to go alright. I got Main Street, Sheldon Woods, Bridge, some Pleasant Church Street, some of East Sheldon Road done. I don't have a lot of time to get everything done, but I can definitely we've already checked out what really needs it more than other roads, so we'll just kind of go from there and knock out the worst spot first. We got the 2018 back from Allegiance. It was a DEF Dowsing pump. Unfortunately, it wasn't under warranty. Like the 21 happened, that went like last year, but it was under warranty. So unfortunately, this one wasn't. So it was like a $2,500 part, and a little bit of brake work, but it was minor. So that's back on the road. Matt was hauling some sand with it today. Hunter was, he scheduled to bring a little sludge up to Coventry at the landfill tomorrow. Matt starts his wastewater class Thursday, and it's not every Thursday until the second week in October, I believe. Then it's every Thursday throughout October into November. The salt shed, that's all, we're pretty much in the hands of the contractor now. I'm assuming the trusses will be dropped off, delivered this week, from what I've been hearing. And he's got a sugar house to build in Georgia, then he'll be up here to do us next. So I'm thinking like 6 weeks still before we can actually order, before you guys, we have the salt contract to sign. And once that's signed, then we can order salt, but that usually doesn't come out till like 1st of November anyway, so I think we'll be in good shape. So the floors, we put 2 different coats of asphalt on it. One with a heavier stone, a bigger stone at the bottom, a base coat, and then regular 3/8 at the top. And there's power out there. It's all wired up it's all ready to go. So once the sill plate's on, we can finish wiring lights and whatnot.
Shouldn't take him long.
No. I was thinking probably like a week, 4 or 5 days. Shouldn't take too long. Here's a quote on steel line tobacco that our hydraulic hoses. And there's a loader we were looking at, and it's through United. It's a John Deere. It's actually up in Maine right now. It's a decent one.
And somewhere there, I gave him those quotes for the
the other one.
CCR.
Yeah, I called that.
Yeah.
Did he send you back? He did.
Yeah, he emailed me this afternoon just before I left, and
Yeah, he
I
told
told
me.
my guys they're perfect because I'm heading to the meeting tonight, and he said he would deliver for 88,000.
Yeah.
It's like 2,200 hours on it, and so it's like less than the backhoe has. It's the same year as the backhoe. It's definitely not I can't say there's not any rust on it, but it hasn't been in the salt like the other ones we've checked out.
He must have more pictures of him. I guess. This is that, Zany?
See any?
Sandy?
What was that one down on?
Yeah, so we checked that one out. It was on the way, it was at CCR in Essex. It was on the way to Jericho to pick up the truck anyway, so it was right on our way. We checked that out last Thursday. On the way to pick up the truck down at Allegiance. There was a used one that was it was a 2023 with 400 hours on it, and they wanted 100,000. or you could buy a brand new 25 for 138,000 with a 5-year, 5,000 hour warranty. Because the town gets like, they get pretty good discounts anyway, being a municipality. I think someone off the street is like it's like 190,000, I believe.
Yeah, I think on the quote, it shows what the street price
There's
is.
no sales tax on it.
Right, yeah.
And then they did have a quote as a deal if we wanted to buy a package deal. We
Yeah.
bought 2 pieces if we wanted to buy a wheel loader and an excavator.
Did they say where this John Deere was before that took it for you?
Well, I talked to the fella today.
Or you
Yeah, I did. Well, I kinda see it and I told Seth about it. And, I spoke to the guy briefly. So it was on a farm, I think. Yeah. I think that's what he said.
Hamilton, Maine.
That's on that is for him, just crack windshield.
Yeah.
Price says 89,000, but he said he delivered it to us for 88.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that was what machine I saw today. That, I don't know. It doesn't have a coupler on it, so it's just a pin bucket. So you're not gonna.
Yeah,
No,
that's probably the only
It's not a
downfall.
quick attack.
No. But, you know, most of the. I don't know how much you'd use it anyway.
Yeah, what would you put on them?
Well, some comes with forks and they talk like, well, they, the
Some
sweeper.
The sweeper would probably fit on it. I'm not sure if the backhoe and the loader are the same. You know, there's obviously John Deere, but if it's a bigger attachment or, you have to have the auxiliary
I don't
hydraulics.
know which
to run
one's,
it.
how much better one would run it than the other, really.
Right.
There are
I
other,
don't know.
there are other attachments we could get, but they're gonna, like, they do make brush cutters that go on them. Some of those are self-propelled, and then you could get like a drum compactor or something like that that goes on.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Those get expensive real quick.
Those are the shots of the thing he sent today, picture.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's the one.
Yeah. For the hour, that's a pretty decent price.
I don't know.
Seems that.
Or John Deere over there to shop. John Deere people,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
In some regards, they're servicing them. Is that the right thing to do? Well, I don't really. It would take the light, it's gonna take the hours off it'll take the hard hours off the backhoe.
Yeah.
Because the loader will, obviously, that's what it's made to do. You haven't, spoke with, Mike Randall
No.
recently?
No, not yet.
Okay.
It was beginning of last week.
Yeah.
He asked for the address and whatnot for the garage and
Yeah.
he was gonna, when the trusses were rolling, he was gonna meet us down here, make sure the dimensions were on.
You're gonna use that brush cutter for a week?
Yes.
Okay.
The price of it's kinda steep, it's $5,800 with the truck in, so.
$1,500 for how long? Today?
5,800 for the week for 5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like $1,300 more than it used to cost, you know?
So I'm running it to dark every day.
What's that?
I'm gonna run it to dark every day.
Yeah.
And I was gonna plan out, we each take our snow plowing roads.
Yeah.
And, but now that Matt's gonna be on Thursday, Hunter's gonna be gone tomorrow, it may or may not work out, but.
Yeah. But the one operator, the more you operate with it, more,
I'm familiar with the tractor anyway, so I just jumped on that, but
yeah, so, you know.
it takes a minute to get used to.
Could Matt run it with his bump on it, or?
Probably can.
Yeah,
Either way, we'll probably put in some overtime on Friday, maybe even Saturday morning.
yeah.
Just get as much time as we can.
Get the worst of it done.
Yeah. Which isn't terrible compared to what we started with, a few years ago, but you can definitely tell it's been 3 years.
Yeah, yeah. Try to get the worst of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It'll look like Halloween after you get done. Smash. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah. Huh. Anyway,
So after brush cutting is done and before the contractor can work on the salt shed, what's on deck?
Matt's been hauling to the stockpile, stone for the, spring kind of deal, whatever. Usually, we usually haul around 50 or 60 loads down there and just have them available for March and April before the quarries actually open. And it works out good because we can get in there right off in the morning without, during sugaring season per se, the roads are frozen, we can spread a few loads here and there where it needs to be. And it doesn't take long to get rid of that pile. And then we're gonna work on the 30 loads that we talked about for the sand. That'll take a few days. And we have a little bit of washout work I kinda wanna do before we get too much rain on a few hills.
up there on Crow Hill there, reports of, is there a culvert showing in the road
Yeah, the corner there.
on that corner?
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. It's been like that way for years. It's not even really the downstream side is not visible either.
So it's some strange thing in the road, you don't know
Yeah.
what it is?
Right. It might be some conduit actually for the, there's a lot of utility right there for Comcast and whatnot. It goes under the road right there.
And from time to time, it gets graded down and you're
Yeah.
in the,
So it definitely needs, so what we're gonna do once it does start raining, dust calms down a little bit, we're gonna spread some gravel on a lot of these roads. They need a little bit of a lift.
couple spots,
Yeah.
lake corrosion.
Just to cover some stones here and there and
Yeah,
give it a little bit more crown for when the rain does come. But I kind of been holding off on that because it's been so dusty and dry out. But
Yeah,
once the rain comes, it doesn't take long this time of year with the heavy dews we have going on.
some of that material you might draw, that might get actually spread on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how far away that machine is in Maine.
Herman?
Huh?
Herman?
Herman, Maine. You know where that is?
Oh, I think I looked that up and I forgot.
I might go up to Maine this week. Huh. Herman, Maine. Must be there around farming, must be.
It's in Penobscot County, so. yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah. So it's just outside of Bangor.
So it's way up there.
Outside of Bangor?
Yeah.
Will they bring it down so we can look at it before we buy it?
I don't,
Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, it's not, I mean, it hasn't been used, been setting, I can tell you that. Or it appears that way. Down from the windshield, light corrosion, I know what that means. If it was on a farm, it's probably had feed sitting on it. I don't know. 2,200 hours though, is not very many hours on a machine, I'll tell you. Okay. 6 hours you can look at it. 6 hours to get there. They're probably 7. You know?
Probably wouldn't be home before dark, would
No. Those oil lines are 300.
Yeah, one was like 4 and one was, they're all different price.
Well, there's 2 of them that were the worst ones, right?
Yeah, they were like the $400 lines.
Yeah.
Do they go to that tilt cylinder?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the
Yeah.
two.
Those are the worst ones, right?
Yeah.
Probably worth getting those changed.
Probably worth getting those changed
Yeah.
just because.
But like that quick attach, I don't think that's not a big deal if you blow that hose. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, that line compared to the,
exactly.
the tilt cylinder.
Right. You got hoses blowing on it and it goes, yeah, what the heck. It's easier to put those lines on than on a day you're not using it,
Yeah.
Right.
as opposed to 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Well, you're not gonna do anything then anyway.
Right.
Yeah. That's what he said, huh? Bring it
Yeah.
down here for 88,000.
I spoke with the Highgate foreman next there, and they rented a Sandy for a week or so and I guess they have a little sand pit down on the front of the road in Highgate. I was like, how you like it? And he's like, we don't, sorry, it broke down, electrical problem. They won't dump the, won't dump the sand out of the bucket. So they're waiting on
Joystick,
yeah,
probably the joystick, because it's electric over.
yeah,
Ronnie Mason had problems with the one he had
yeah,
as well.
You
yeah.
had the same
Yeah.
excavator or?
Yeah,
Hey,
the big excavator.
or that, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, that's the thing with that John Deere, at least you're gonna get service. Doesn't seem like that bad a price for the hours there. From what I've been seeing anyways.
I brought up to Nick also, there's on the Cook Road, there's a turnaround, it's Hunter's Road. It's like it's not a residence, but it's like not a commercial building either, it's like a garage. I don't think it's used that often, but it was a good turnaround, it was right on the line. And for some reason, the guy didn't like it last year that we're, Heidi and Sheldon were turning around his yard. So he basically wanted his yard paved or he was gonna kick us out, and he put a cable across it this summer. So I spoke with Nick about that, and he said he left it in the administrator's hands to deal with it.
That's down there, like.
Yeah, so it's on the Cook Road at the
That
turnaround,
used to
so
be,
Fiji
Fiji Macy's.
Yeah.
on
Fiji
the
Macy's is a shop.
on the
Who owns that now?
I don't know.
on the hiking side, there's really not that great of spots.
No.
You'd almost have to come back to
Of course, there's a curve right before it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right on that curve.
So where you were turning around, he wanted some favor or he wanted something in return.
it wasn't just like a load of stone or anything, it was like a paved yard for him, but he was off his rocker, so
Really?
yeah.
So for that price, you would drive down to the end of that road and turn around.
Yeah.
You would think if you plowed it out, it would be handy.
Right. And like I said, it's not like an everyday use garage. I don't know what they do there, and Nick didn't either, but we're definitely not turning around there anymore, so.
Where does Highgate turn around?
Oh, right there.
Oh,
So
they
it was
used
just,
to turn around
it worked
right
out good because it's right on the line.
So Huggy can't turn around either?
No. And it wasn't just about Sheldon either,
No, just, he didn't want people over here.
Yeah. So I mean, as far as Highgate goes, it's all just small residential driveways until 207, which won't really work that good, so back where
You
Sheldon,
kinda gotta go around the corner a little ways and then,
Yeah.
and then,
so we'll have to figure that out here.
so how much of his driveway did he want paved?
I don't know.
The length of the truck for the whole, I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Hmm. And Highgate's got had the same discussion with them.
I don't know if they have you there or not.
They could come right up to the Hill Road and then they could turn around, and plow back down through.
Right,
if they
right,
wanted.
Yeah,
Give them a good place to turn around.
yeah.
Or is there a place where we could,
We don't have a road we can trade with them.
Yeah, that's the thing, that's how many spots they
Yeah.
could turn.
you know,
I mean, Charles Circle works good on the Hill Road for us. You know, we go into Highgate just by like 30, 40 feet probably, 50 feet.
there's not a,
You could do the Macy Road piece, maybe. Swap off with Highgate, Macy to Busa or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, so now we're turning, there was like a little spot right on the edge of the bank right there, we were turning around, but Highgate didn't like it, so we got permission from Bill, Mishi. He goes to Florida, so that worked out good where he parks his big truck.
Turn around.
So we've been using that, like, we started like last year was the first year, or maybe 2 years now.
so, there's no, huh. Well, go down there and look at that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to dig into it and see what.
Yeah, I noticed they get put in Jane, because it wasn't like that earlier this year. I went down,
No.
I go drive up there and turn around, look at the
Yeah.
road and turn around. And,
Yeah.
this year, last month I did that and I couldn't do it.
What's the name of that little development just up from that turnaround?
From the Cook, in Sheldon.
Yeah, Cook Road. That could be a possibility.
Sampson Drive area
Yeah, it
there?
could be,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's,
that could be a possibility.
yeah, you'd have to get Highgate to wanna plow a little bit
Yeah.
further, but there is a road there they can turn
I
into.
mentioned it to him, and he said, yeah, that'd work out.
Jim Harrison's little place got a pretty good driveway there too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're gonna have that discussion with Highgate?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Like that taken
I'm
care
gonna
of.
talk to.
Not gonna snow next week, so.
No.
Let's get it all figured out where it
I would have thought they'd like to people turn, so truck pulls in, kind of plows in a little ways and turns around. As opposed to, whatever, that's different people got different ideas.
Yep.
Okay.
Did you guys, figure out the grader fix?
Still waiting on, we figured out what it was.
In the steering column? Is
Yeah.
it one piece?
Yeah,
So-
it's like say on the trunk of your car, a cylinder there, it's just unthreaded on one side.
So it's just something we gotta order and
Yeah.
replace ourselves?
Yeah, if we can get up to it, yeah.
One more run with grader after it rains. or-
Yeah, probably in certain roads. If you don't use it.
Are you gonna try to do anything with your turnaround on the dart? Or add that
Oh.
fill to the right side where you kind of back around, or?
Yeah, as far as that goes, I mean, I think the first step of that is if we get the power company down there to cut some of those trees down. And then,
I don't know, they will cut them, will they? I don't think they'll cut them, you'd have to contract them. I would assume.
Well, if there was a hazard that the tree would fall on the lines, you can make that case.
cause on
I
either,
already tried once, but
cause on either side, Nick and I looked at it and it's like, I'm not cutting it.
no, I wouldn't want you to. That will go bad.
Risky, yeah.
That's a pretty massive tree by your, Cooper's old place.
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to figure out what we need to do for that drainage, that whole drain line, and you'd have to move that driveway culvert, and,
Figured go down there and check that out. I've never seen, I haven't been down there in years. Somewhere down there, the road forks, right, goes out to your place.
Straight, where is it? Straight.
Straight shot.
Straight.
Yeah.
Great shot.
It used to fork and go down behind, around your place to
Right.
where the road, where the trail used to go there. Right? But
Yeah.
there are some housing lots out off to the left there that could be developed too, so we may end up having more houses down there eventually.
Where you turn around now?
it's right there on the left.
In the driveway.
Yeah. I mean, Hunter did have a problem with it last year. I mean, it wasn't like we had any ice storms, but he was a rookie at driving a truck too, and he did alright. I didn't hear anything about it, but.
Right. The issue is being on an incline and trying to back around on a hill.
Right, but I don't know how it's gonna be any better. if-
Right. Well, I mean, if you opened it up and made it wider, I think it would be easier.
Right.
And then there's trees in the way.
Not if we take them down. I'll take the firewood.
Big trees, well, yeah.
Right.
Just start,
What kind of trees
start cutting trees and moving culverts. and
What kind of
all
trees
that
are
there.
One's a maple and one's a big hemlock.
Oh,
Anyway.
Yeah, good size.
and they're your trees?
Mm-hmm.
And there's power lines above them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. And they're leaning towards the power lines or away?
One of them's leaning towards them, but the power company wouldn't take them. They said they would, but it's been 2 years now. Trees in there.
That's the thing.
They won't take them down.
Right.
They said they get paid more if wind blocks them, knocks them down, because usually it's on a night and a weekend or a holiday.
Yeah.
Just moving it. Yeah. It's only your power's out, not.
Oh, yeah, pretty much.
You have generator?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, maybe next year, Nick and I talked about the dart's gonna need to be paved or resurfaced. At that
Well-
point, we might as well go right to the end.
Well, I think, you still gotta make those improvements before the pavement.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
When was the last time Bedard was resurfaced?
I believe it was 1998, if I remember correctly.
I think it was done since.
Or maybe it was, maybe that was the first time.
They paid pine and cedar when I first started,
Yeah, I was gonna say, we did
but the dart didn't get hit.
not the whole, yeah, we did the two
Yeah,
developments.
Developments.
yeah.
So on the other property down below, I mean, we could theoretically make a cul-de-sac on a flat there, pretty much.
Yeah, might as well make a cul-de-sac like the other two.
Right.
But those aren't much fun to plow around either.
No, well, you could do a hammerhead too, or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me, but
Yeah.
Huh. Is the asphalt getting kinda funny down there?
there's no asphalt on my section.
Yeah, I know that.
Oh, the rest of it? Yeah. Okay.
There's no really weight that goes down there besides, trash trucks.
School bus.
Yeah, school bus.
Yeah, trash trucks. Yeah. Beef trucks. The beef truck goes down there.
Yeah.
Sometimes an overloaded hay wagon, but that's about it.
You're not sugaring. Huh. Yeah, anyway.
But yeah, I guess we'll have to put some money aside for tree removal.
Money aside for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You gotta come down or have somebody else come down. It's a good project for Rick this winter, to cut that maple down and chop that up and where are we?
Then they won't have a place to turn around.
So,
They have to back all the way up the road if they're gonna plow it.
Jim got hung up there once on an ice storm or something. That one time, years of, you know, 1 of 4 years he worked here, I gave him a tug out, but that was
There's been a school bus off and
yeah.
obviously FedEx and UPS, that's a regular occurrence
Yeah.
for them.
Just when they back into the driveway? Or just going up?
And they just go up.
I mean, it's all ledge right there, isn't it? So you really can't.
Halfway up is ledge.
Yeah.
This is your driveway. The town trucks are driving up your driveway to turn around.
Whatever, 20 feet or whatever, until the back end of it matches the neighbor's driveway so they can swing around.
Yeah. Which is no big deal. You just gotta hug the trees or whatever.
I kind of remember.
Well, when the town threw up that road down there, they should have established a turnaround when they did that. It just,
Mm.
they just lopped off the end of the road, so there's none of that. Just,
Hmm.
there's several roads that, I've been trying to research through and understand where, see if I can find the actual surveys for the roads that we have, like, any of the newer ones, like Pete West put, you know, Deer Run down there. Any of those newer runs they were established and either sold to the town or whatever, and when they were, you know, they put cul-de-sacs or turnabouts in, but we got some older roads that either they used to go through, like this one, and they got cut up, they just got abandoned after, or they never went through, like the Poor Farm Road, and I don't know that, you know, there's a place down there where we turn around, but I don't know that the town technically has the right of way where we turn around. Now, it's not a huge problem, but by the way that the development laws are written, there should be an established turnaround for every dead-end road. So, that's something that, in the long run, would be nice to fix for, but in this particular case, it's kind of more of that's a side issue to how you actually get something to turn around in there.
Yeah.
I don't know if, just look, from my interpretation of looking at it, I don't know if there's a way that we can carve back some of the, where the right of way used to go onto the trail, and that would make it a wider, more of a Y-shaped turnaround.
Mhm.
Because, and then also that's going slightly downhill as opposed to going up, straight up, like when you're going up your driveway, it's pretty much.
Yeah, that's because
Yeah.
the driveway's a little higher than that.
Right, so it might be a flatter trajectory to make it a more of a Y-shaped area, but you still gotta cut trees down, move drainage.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure there's a big one right next to your neighbor's driveway as well, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if that one, I mean, that one's on their property, I'm
I
assuming.
don't think that's on the right of way.
Okay, yeah, so that one's gotta go.
So,
But speaking of, dead ends and stuff and turnarounds, there's, 7 houses on the end of, Swamp Road now, on a class 4 road. And, I was asked by the new residents that just moved into one of St. Pierre's, houses that if the road is gonna be plowed, past the turnaround, what we were discussing earlier this year. I don't know if we're gonna make it that far or not, but,
Something should be done with that many houses down there.
yeah.
yeah, there's 7 houses down there now.
So,
Past our turnaround.
at the old farm.
Yeah. I usually plow wide and I plow that first one out and then back up, 50 feet, but the road narrows up pretty good and past there.
So there's no turnaround down there either then?
Not really, no. Yeah, in deep ditches.
Well, there is.
You have to kind of pull into Roddy's driveway and
Yeah,
back into
Back into
Pete's,
Pete's,
yeah.
but if you're, there's plenty of room, I back my truck around
Yeah. I also know there's like 10-foot ditches on either side of the road.
there. Yeah, that's the problem, it's
Yeah.
narrow and deep
Way
ditches.
overkill.
Yeah. But,
2-foot ditches.
pretty deep.
Yeah.
A lot of fill.
Yeah.
We have trucked a
Well,
fair
you
amount of
can
material
knock
out there.
that road
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
You can knock that road down 3 feet there.
Yeah, and we trucked in some shoulder, sand per se, off, when we were shouldering, Cattell Road and Eldridge and whatnot, we probably dumped like 40, 50 loads over there, and leveled it out on the side, so we widened it for a little while, but it's still like a quarter mile probably, we gotta go.
On this class 4 road.
Yeah. It's by
Well, see, the problem was when Churchill started building up there, the town told them that it was, the road stopped, top of the hill, and they were on their own down there. And so they built that road up, Roddy and Tony, and so they had it ground up wicked, so that no water runoff, but it's a single horse track going through there, basically, you're one vehicle.
So how did it become class 4?
Well, it always was, but the town told them different, that, they could only put 3 houses down there because it was, not any more than that, the road was gonna have to be brought up to standards, but if you look at the maps, that's always been a class 4 road going through there.
To, where's it go, how far does it go?
John Johnson.
And theoretically, it goes all the way to the Duffy Hill Road, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but,
You can't get there without, you can find the road up at John, through the woods ways, but where it gets down the bottom of the hill where Roddy's goes up through and Pete's it goes up through there. But anyway, so it was a whole class 4 road, but that's why I'm saying I think we need to, and so those 3, once they figured out it was a class 4 road, there was those 3 houses, and then Pete built his house up there, and then since then, St. Pierre's put in a couple more. And so, now it's getting to be a bunch of houses on
So it should be,
Wide.
class 3 should be extended up
yeah,
to,
that's what
a certain
that's
point,
what I
and
had
then-
suggested before, that we make that a class 3 down to,
right, and
Tony's
then,
right away.
yeah.
Or all the way to the end. Yeah, might as well go to the end.
well, at some point down there, and then designate the rest as trail.
Because right now, basically, it's a one-lane road.
There's no children?
Well,
School
it's,
bus?
like I said, there's deep ditches on both sides.
wow.
Well, you could drive a big truck down there, no
The
problem.
bus turns around the same place the
Town does.
town does,
Yeah.
they've always brought kids up to the top.
Yeah, but Mark St. Pierre has he had a trailer that thinks it's still for sale there, but he's got 2 other building lots there too, that he's got one down
There's 2 down there now, one's
There's
just
2
got
down
sold
there,
and
right.
then.
Did it get sold finally? Yeah, anyway, so, yeah, and I think he's got, if he wants to, he could build on other land down there too, so you could have,
Well, if the town owns a road, and it's class 4, and all of a sudden there's that many, it probably should be brought up to 3 standard, or put it into 3 category, and we probably should, yeah. Trail the rest of it out,
Right.
or something to that effect. I haven't been through there in a long time.
Right.
But it doesn't get any better after you start going through.
Right.
that part in the woods is bad too,
I know, but
but, in the winter, at least.
That's gotten better over the years.
excavator bulldozer straighten that right out. Be right coming right through there. But I don't think John would appreciate that.
No.
Huh?
Any hauling wood out of there didn't help.
All right.
Yeah,
Right.
I was approached by also not get off the subject of that, but resident, lifetime resident of Sheldon, and she said if it was to come up the land next door to the shop, that resident is pretty elderly and she's been in the hospital, so the land was willed to her niece, and she'd like to possibly purchase it and then donate it to the town for make like a green space out of the field and all that, and have that for Sheldon Home Days gathering, and then possibly donate some of it to town garage. So I don't know if we can.
This was Ramona's niece.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she's like in North Carolina, so I don't know how to get in touch with her, but if I have to do some digging.
She,
And you heard that information through,
Sally.
okay, Sally. All right.
I saw her niece came to the town office about a month ago, because I guess they just wanna make sure her affairs were in order
Yeah.
or whatever, so I did meet her, but I didn't hear about that plan when she did, but I probably could get ahold of her.
That would be
Well,
nice.
this is like just Sally's idea.
Oh, okay.
She was trying to reach out to,
Sally.
Sally wants some information to reach out to the niece and see if
Okay.
she could purchase it. Seeing as how she wasn't gonna sell anything to town, but she thought it was a good idea to maybe have like a town green for the,
Yeah, yeah. Wow, the property's been in the, what do I want to say, been in the eye, the town's been looking, or
yeah,
thought about that property for a while, and
Yeah.
we get along over there, but we're a little cramped for space,
yeah,
and that whole, well, behind the garage and down and around there, that's, yeah. Yeah, on the west side of the garage there, it's kind of like, I didn't look, I mean, it's kind of overgrown there.
yeah.
And we really can't go down in there and do anything with it, because it's not ours.
Right.
Isn't it wetlands?
Well, not immediately, I don't think. On the left side of the, yeah. I mean, it could be improved quite a bit, just going around it, for sure.
How big is that lot?
It's 1 acre, exactly. The garage, sorry, the garage is 1 acre though. The rest of the land is,
Like
it's
14.
30 or from, yeah, it's more, yeah, 14, yeah. That's right.
With the buildings on it, yeah, on the far right, on, up there on Center
Yeah, because
Street.
it wraps around Central, goes down Central quite a ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
It says,
Well,
here-
that's-
it says 12 and a half here, so.
You get any quotes on fence for the timber?
Oh, yeah, I showed them to you a couple of meetings ago.
That's when I wasn't here.
Oh, yeah, probably,
Okay,
yeah.
that's all right.
I think you guys look,
Depends on the height that we want.
yeah.
Yeah.
6 foot or 8 foot.
Whether we wanna do it all or what.
I think you,
We kinda
if I remember you guys looked at it and decided maybe it'd be worthwhile to talk about it next year instead of.
thought my budget for next year, I think that's what we had that, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can dig it up if you wanna look at it.
No,
There's different models and different specs.
But we could, you know, budget it for next year and get it on the, you know, spring, but with this little piece, we don't know what we're fencing now. Exactly. But I would say that we,
Generally speaking, though, I think you'd want to protect the town garage from, even if it was a
That's right.
community center
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah, that's
on the other
right.
side.
yeah, that's right. But I might set it over, it'd be nice to have a little more width there down through,
Right.
another 50 feet there on the east side.
They quoted us about $2,500 for the gate, and then if it was a 6-foot fence, it'd be $44 per foot, and if it was an 8-foot fence, it'd be $62 a foot.
Get some big posts out of Franklin, put up some deer fence around there. I walked out behind the garage, and I was looking at the salt shed there and all that, and the pavement. I walked around out behind there, and deer got up and blew at me, you know.
Yeah,
She jumped right up there, she was right on the backside of the
I see them on top of the pile before,
Yeah.
kicking them out.
Yeah. Kind of like, you know, if you jumped up out of the grass, it would up from here, yeah.
Alright,
Yeah.
anything else we have?
I was gonna call Lafayette's too. I spoke with them earlier, about, we still have like half the budget for guardrails. We were first on the list of doing, the heights there, that little short section. So I was gonna, probably try to use up the rest of the money and move, Pleasant Street guardrails over and have a, like a good 3 foot,
Shoulder.
Yeah, shoulder as much as we can get before the bank starts dropping back off of that material that we moved in off of our cut off the bank off Pleasant Street, so.
Yeah.
We're usually the last on our list anyway before they do town work, it's usually, you know, November, but we're on their schedule, so.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Alright, thank you, Sal. Grand West area information.
Yeah, I think it's just one property.
Yes, the Green Mountain Power,
Yeah.
what was,
So the state reassessed all the utilities this year, and I'm not sure, I thought that was all captured in the grand list
oh,
ahead of time, but I gotta admit, I did not speak with, Justin gave it to me, but I didn't ask him in detail about what exactly has changed, but
so the-
essentially they called him and said, hey, our assessment is not correct.
their substation or something.
Yeah, I don't know, it may be personal property as
Oh,
opposed to.
yeah, that could be personal property.
I guess I don't.
So it's, Harrow's emissions, Green Mountain Power changed from 13,328 to 10,061, a difference of $3,267. It says the 2025 reported value not reflected on the 2025 tax bill. I guess I'll take a motion to accept this change.
I'm gonna make the motion.
Second on that.
Second that.
All in favor?
If you would all sign that, please. In general, Sheldon made out better when they reappraised the utilities than a lot of the other towns did. Our assessment went up for the utilities in a lot of the towns that really didn't, so that was a problem for a lot of towns this year.
What's telecommunications?
Oh, yeah, so I just, I've been calling about, as I mentioned last time, the time is coming soon when, our existing telephone is, I'm not sure if they're gonna actually like pull the plug on the telephone network or I'm not sure when they're gonna do that, but my expectation is that they're probably gonna keep increasing the bill until we switch over to a different service. And I also just looked at what we're currently paying for phone right now. It's quite a lot actually here at the town office. We have 4 lines here at the town office, and that is costing us $250 a month. The garage and sewer plant both have phones as well, and that's costing us $70 a month at each of those locations. Those phones don't really get used very much, and I don't. So I just reviewing that and thinking maybe we could have a better solution here now.
We're gonna eliminate the sewer plant, as I understand.
I think that would be a good idea. Now, the other thing to consider here is that we have talked in the past about putting more security cameras up on the town's property. But I think if I remember correctly, one of the things that held you back from doing that was that there was not internet on premises at some of those places, and that would obviously make it easier to have active monitoring at those places, so,
Hunter was saying like internet down there at sewer plant and all this.
right, and that's the other thing is with the change of personnel we're gonna have, I think Hunter would prefer to, in the long run, have a laptop and have it down at the sewer plant so that he could do, you know, or do the work he has to do right on site instead of coming back up here to the office.
Right, it sounds like, I spoke to,
Yeah.
sure, Hubert the other day or last week, and he said it would be much more beneficial to be inputting the data every day than waiting, I don't know what they do up here, they don't come up like maybe once a week or whatever it is.
Right, so, and the other thing is that the state is making us sample more often, you know, more and more, right now. I forgot, at a certain point, we're gonna have to sample both the influent and the effluent, you know, on a continuous basis, and, so, yeah, that would obviously facilitate that. So looking at, then I went out and asked, you know, obviously, Consolidated is ending the telephone line, but that's because they're upgrading this to all fiber around here. They are offering, for residential customers, they're offering a pretty, seems like a pretty good deal, which is essentially the service that we get here at the town office is 300 megabyte for our internet through Comcast. We're paying $165 a month for that. Fidium is claiming for their residential customers are gonna offer that amount of service for $80. But part of it's that it remains to be seen how reliable that network is yet. I talked to Matt Boucher about that this morning. He said basically every install he's done with Fidium this year has been a nightmare. And especially when they were trying to bring telephone service with the internet service, he said, you know, he had a client who didn't have a phone for like 6 months, and or 6 weeks, excuse me. So it was, so there's a question of reliability with that network, and maybe it'll get established over time, but I'm sort of reluctant to just switch over, because Consolidated would like us to just take our telephone and switch it over to their fiber network and keep it, you know, maybe we get rid of the phone lines while we're doing that, but we have internet at those places. And in theory, with the pricing that they're talking about, at least for residential customers, when I talked to them a second time, they were something, oh, you're a government, that's special, we have special, because they have state contracts and things like that, so I'm gonna get more information about that in terms of what they could offer us. But in theory, let's put it this way, if we're paying right now $70 for the phone at the sewer plant, for only $10 more, we could get just as good internet there as we have here, and we could probably get the basic internet for half that cost down there.
That might be a good place, that might be a good place to see what their service is.
Right, yeah, so, I think what, that may be what we do is maybe at, the sewer plant or possibly at the town garage, maybe we try this Fidium switch over, but here at the town office, I think we're gonna stick with Comcast for the internet, and then we could switch our phone services here to Comcast as well, and we would save some money doing that. It would commit us for another 2 years to, our current internet deal is supposed to be running out in June, I think, but if we switched over, we would immediately start a new 2-year contract for it. The other alternative we have is to keep the internet we have and then use a third-party service to do our phones, which is something that other towns, I think Fairfield does that, and there's some other towns. And when I talked to Matt, basically he said, most of the other towns are doing, if they don't have traditional telephones, they're doing one of those two things. They either get their internet through Comcast and they do their phones through Comcast, or they're getting their internet however they're getting it and they're using a third-party provider for voice over IP phones. So, and which is the company that he uses for his business. And he said that it works well and it saves money, but he says there is sometimes a period where, especially when you're taking an old telephone number, an existing telephone number, there may be kind of a period where they can't give you your old number, so you've gotta have a temporary number for a while, and that can be kind of,
Disruptive.
yeah, disruptive to your situation.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I think maybe the path of least resistance for the town would be to move our phones here at the town office onto the Comcast. Maybe maybe consider abandoning the phone lines at the sewer plant in the town garage,
Yeah.
and either just have them answer their cell phone. Comcast does have a service where they actually offer cell phone plans as well, we could talk about that, but, I think in the short run, that's probably the most likely thing to do. I was hoping I would get like concrete prices for you today, but once I figured out that there was a government contract available for some of these things, that kind of changed the conversation, and now I'm waiting for more information, so I will kick this to the next meeting, but assuming that I can give you the pricing information at the next meeting, I think we could save the town some money on the phones, although it might be a bit of an if we wanted to go the route of putting internet at the sewer plant and the town garage with Fidium, that might be a wait and see how reliable it is situation, but on the other hand, it could be cheaper than what we're currently getting and better service, so. Anyway, that's the update on that.
Okay.
The other thing is that, Rick, I meant to talk to you about the fire department, we currently pay for them to have a business phone through Comcast.
Mhm.
But I think your internet and your television must be provided to you through some other provider. We don't get an internet bill and stuff for the town.
No, it's free.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Free to whatever, fire department.
Right, yeah, so we do technically have, the town doesn't necessarily use it, but the town pays for a Comcast business line down there already, and I don't know, maybe.
They poured it over our landline.
Correct,
too.
yeah, and that's exactly what we'd be talking about doing here. And I don't know if, I might talk to, if we do that here at the town office, I might talk to Comcast about whether it would save us money if we put that all on one account, but
Yeah,
I don't know if it would or not.
Well, it used to be a lot simpler.
Yeah.
Old Mobile.
That's right.
Ring the phone.
Alright, I'll read the minutes here from the previous meeting, and get these warrants and counts signed up. Town of Sheldon Selectboard Water Commission regular meeting minutes from September 8th, 2025. In attendance in the select board is Maria Davison, Stephen Dodd, Nick Norris, Richard Piazzi, and Greg Stebbins. Others here were Amanda Forbes, Jane Longs, our town clerk and treasurer, Matt Stebbins, town administrator, Jerry Vasey from Northwest Access TV, and Nancy West from the planning commission. 7:37, I called the meeting to order and read the agenda. Discussion of the speed bumps on Pleasant Street was added to the agenda. 7:38, Jane Lonza introduced Amanda Forbes and addressed the board regarding the proposed contract for financial consultant services. Jane is seeking assistance and support with certain duties of the treasurer position, including quarterly reports and preparing for annual audit. Under the proposed agreement, Amanda would provide services for 10 to 20 hours per month. Jane said the contract hours may go down over time as she gains experience, but said that assistance with some tasks would be advisable long term. Greg moved to accept the proposed contract for financial consultant services, seconded by Nick, the motion carried. Matt will work with Amanda and the town attorney to finalize wording of the contract before it is executed. 7:56, Nancy West addressed the board regarding speed bumps on Pleasant Street. Nancy reported reported that the two bumps installed appeared to be slowing traffic, but that some cars were still speeding between the two bumps. She asked the board to consider installing a third bump in the middle. She also reported that there were complaints about the visibility of the speed bump signs. Matt Stebbins reported that larger reflective signs would be received soon. 8:07, the board took up discussion of Parks and Recreation. Maria Davison reported her discussions with the parent-teacher organization and the school regarding the need for improved recreational facilities. New soccer nets are needed at both the upper school field and the lower field on the school forest property. PTO would also like to furnish benches for the lower soccer field. The backstops and dugouts for both softball and baseball need repairs or reconstruction. Board agreed that the soccer facility should be financed with the remaining Parks and Rec budget, so long as the facilities for the lower field are not permanently installed. Matt will obtain quotes for the board to review at the next meeting. The board asked Matt to work with the school on a proposal for baseball and softball improvements in preparation for next year's budget, including research and grant opportunities. The board also discussed possibility of establishing a town recreation committee. 8:23, I read the minutes from the August 25th meeting and the board signed warrants 31702 and 2530. Richard Piazza asked the minutes to be corrected to show that the water line boring was done on Bridge Street. And Nick Norris asked that next meeting date be corrected. Nick moved to adopt the minutes as corrected, seconded by Rick, and the motion carried. 8:30, Matt Stebbins delivered the town administrator's report. Topics included upcoming review of phone and internet services, municipal planning grant applications, October staff meeting to review benefits and leave for the 2026 budget, paying out comp time for the highway crew, review of recent highway and water projects, and policing. 8:55, board took up the salt shed project, discussed options for financing. Trusses have been ordered for the roof structure. Board agreed to use the town's line of credit to pay expenses until the total cost of the project is known. 9:09, it moved to enter executive session to discuss personnel, seconded by Rick, and the motion carried. 10:40, Nick moved to exit executive session, seconded by Greg, and the motion carried. Board discussed personnel matters, no action was taken except to end executive session. 10:41, Nick moved to adjourn the meeting, seconded by Greg, and the motion carried. Next meeting is Monday, September 22nd at 7:30. Take a motion to accept these minutes as read.
I'll make the motion.
Second on that.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? This letter of support, does that need to be approved or just signed?
I don't know if, it was, Industrial Development Corporation is asking for the town to support that, the grant for that project. This is the business is going in where, next to Cody West House. And I don't know if we need a motion on it necessarily, or if we just need to have someone sign it, but.
Where is this going?
Between Jeff and Debbie Catel's house and
Oh, okay.
Cody West.
Where there's a little stand now?
Yeah, so
Okay.
they're,
Building a bakery.
Nice.
They're looking for, writing a grant for some equipment to put in the bakery. You got anything else? Administrator's report?
sure, so we,
This year, maybe, excuse me, this year, Maybe Seth might need that.
Okay. I'll go back. So we had our kickoff meeting for the bicycle pedestrian study grant, not last Friday, but the Friday before that. We had people from VHB come up here, and John Wilkin was here from V-Trans District 8. And, there was another fellow from V-Trans who's more on the planning side. So we kind of walked the whole corridor between the fire station and the school, and then we kind of circled back down walked down 105 to Shawville Road and then back over to the fire station. So they got oh right, yeah, yeah, they got a good view of the issues there. Conveniently, somebody came by with a baby stroller right down Mill Street, so they got a picture of the pedestrians that they want. Also, you know, a couple of mill trucks, right when we were there, a couple of the mill trucks drove out out into the, you know, the big triangle there in front of the store, so they could see what was going on there with there's a reason why there's all that pavement there, is because they needed to make that big turn there, so. Continuing to have a discussion, I guess when the state, when Jolly was thinking about doing that redevelopment to put the Dunkin' Donuts and all that, I guess the state went through all the right-of-way stuff there. But I still, they seem to think that the town owns Mill Street all the way to 105 as opposed to the stop sign by the store, which is what I thought was the case. So I'll have to look at that. I don't know when they ceded that to the town or how they did it, but anyway, it's really a matter right now of figuring out. VHB kind of took that initial study. Now they're taking the information that the state shared with them about the right of way, and they're working out their proposal. We're supposed to have the next step is to schedule a public meeting. I've talked with Rick about having that at the firehouse. We're probably gonna do that the 3rd or 4th week of October. We'll see how many, if we can get anybody from the public to come in and talk about that, but anyway, that'll be the next step in the process. In general, we want we reviewed where the sidewalks used to be on Mill Street, and I think they're probably still there underneath all the dirt, but anyway, there is sort of a question. Of course, all the utilities are on that side of the street, all the utility poles are on that side of the street, but on the other side of the street, the grade goes up and down all the way through, and of course it goes across Todd's garage, so they were kind of like, well, it seems natural to put the sidewalk on this side of the street, but then when you get out by the store and you're going over to 105, it's sort of, that's obviously gonna be the big question, is how do you design something that would go across the highway there, so. Anyway, that's something they're gonna try to figure out, but, so, that went well. I had a meeting with regional planning about, there's an upcoming municipal planning grant round coming up, and we talked again about, we had talked with them in the spring about doing this, but the planning commission was having a hard time, or that was in the winter, and the planning commission didn't have a meeting there for a couple months, so I couldn't get it approved, but we had a more drilled down conversation about it, because there's only $30,000 or $40,000 available in that grant, so as much as it might be nice to study a lot of different things into it, we narrowed it down to really just focusing on water and sewer in the springs and coming up with a mapping that system better and coming up with a management plan for it, and then maybe some community engagement about starting to talk about redoing the ordinance so that around higher rates for the, you know, amending the rates for the water and sewer, and making a plan for future development of the sewer system, because if with this this, regional plan update and the Act 250 changes, yeah, maybe somebody who doesn't have to go through Act 250 to put houses down in the Springs, but they'd still have to figure out how to get sewer over there, and that's something we need to come up with a process for doing, so that would be the whole goal of that grant, would be to map out where the sewer is, figure out how much it would cost to take care of it over time, and then maybe start a conversation with people about how we're gonna pay those costs, and then how the system might expand over, come up with a method so that, I think ideally what we do is we adopt regulations so that it says in clear print, like, you build this system and we'll hook it onto the sewer. You know, as long as, if you as a contractor, you're a developer, you build the whole system, and then the town inspects it, and if it meets the specs, we build out, and the town picks up, you know, however many customers, and everything's built. So that's the goal of the grant. So NRPC is gonna kind of write that up for me, with us, and get some cost specs for that. I'll bring that to the planning commission for their October meeting, and then assuming that they're okay with it, it'll come back to you for approval in October, and hopefully that grant will be submitted in the beginning of November, is the plan. Wanted to review one question that came up last time. In our current policy, personnel policy, we had made it a thing that we asked the highway crew to use up their comp time by this time of the year, down to 40 hours. And they've been trying to do that, but I think most of them are close to it, but they also asked if they could just get paid out for down to 0 instead of down to 40 at this time of the year. And I didn't know if that was all right with you guys, and then I'll just instruct the clerk to pay them out. That would be at the next payroll period. Because by the policy, the idea is that they use that time up by the time they switch back into a 5-day week. Yeah. So that's coming up on right before your next meeting, yeah, or the day of your next meeting, pretty much.
Was that at 10.5?
Yes, yeah, right. So this is their overtime that they work, and instead of getting paid at the time that they did the overtime, they put it in a bank, and for that they could take time off they could take paid time off instead of receiving overtime.
So, dumb question, the paid time off, like 1 hour or an hour and a half?
Right. So if you worked 1 hour of overtime, you could take an hour and a half of time off at your regular pay. So economically, it works out the same for the town, but although the way the comp time works, if there's a bank, you can just hold it in your bank until you get a pay raise, and then you're technically getting more money, but it's also several years later, so money's worth less. But you know, so anyway.
Well, I think that's why we put that stipulation in there, so they didn't build them up too high.
Right.
And,
Well-
and I think that makes the most sense, is they start back at 0 at the beginning of the next.
Yeah.
But I know that was a discussion at that time, that they didn't wanna have to do that, because then, you know, if something came up and they needed to take, you know, some time off.
Right. But I think what's worked out this year so far is that they've all taken comp time, and I think maybe they haven't used much of their other time in terms of, I think Seth's taking a vacation and Hunter's taking 1 week, I think, but.
Well, that's the thing with giving that much comp time, if they don't have time to use all their vacation time as they're doing it.
Right. So this is another reason why I'd kind of like to revisit the whole issue with, and maybe put the vacation, or not vacation, but vacation and the sick time into one pool. And so then they have 2 pools, they have the comp time and they have the vacation time. Now, also as a, when we get to this, the town does not have to, it's a strange thing, you don't have to offer, if you decide you don't wanna offer comp time, you don't have to. But if you do offer it, it's regulated by federal law how you do that, kind of, and, yeah, it's a strange, thing, but.
Yeah, because we went through all that when we started doing that kind of stuff.
Right. And I think the thing that, when Kim was here, she was annoyed that they would have a comp time bank, but then they would come and ask her for an extra check to cash out of it every once in a while. So that's when we rewrote the policy. We said, okay, you can do that once a year, was the idea. And then the idea was to get them to use up their comp time so that they weren't taking time off in the winter. And in exchange for that, they got an extra check once a year. But.
Yeah, because there's nothing to carry over, right? And that's the big issue was, if you get to the end of the year and you have any lifetime left, you just get paid out and it resets the clock.
Right.
That way we're not dealing with the changes in rates or something hang on for 3 years.
Well, I ended up was, we experienced this, several years ago, like, all of a sudden there, we had these liabilities in huge banks at the time that these employees, saved up, and they were, so we had to set up payment penalty, we had to pay that out, to get back to, which kind of,
So what they're asking for is the payout of what we would do anyway for our current policy?
So our current policy says that they need to, they should use their time down to 40 hours.
That's just the total they can carry. If
And then
over that, we pay them out.
That's right. Now, but they're asking, hey, just set me to 0 and pay me out. That's what they're asking for.
We owe it to them.
That's
It's
right.
their overtime, they
Yeah,
owe.
just
right, but then.
paying it out now is kinda
Is it-
to our
is it law now?
benefit.
There's no tax on overtime?
I don't know if that's actually written in the law yet, is it? About the big beautiful bill.
I think, yeah, I don't know. But was that?
I'd have to
overtime?
look at that, but yeah, maybe.
Maybe that's why they want it.
What was that? I guess I missed that.
No tax on tips and overtime.
Yeah, I also said something about people at age 50 could retire, full benefits too. I don't see anybody retiring.
I believe that there's an income threshold to go with that.
I don't know. But that maybe income, but that was overtime earned previous to the, I don't know.
I don't
Doesn't
know.
impact us.
Yeah, it doesn't affect the town's books.
No, but
Okay.
that may be some, it has something to do with why these,
Yeah.
they wanna get it paid out.
Okay.
Cause before they would get the time off, would get tax on it, see?
Yeah, but then they figured out they can't take all that comp time off, plus the vacation time off. They can't burn it all up in the summer, cause they get too much.
At least if they have it on the books, they can use it if they have the opportunity to.
Yeah, I don't know where it got going with that. I remember when that comp time came up and it was like, I didn't like anything to do with it. Huh?
Yeah,
And then, and at the time that the clerk was like, it was just a nightmare of,
well, that was, one of the things that with these highway employees, their big money time was in the winter, cause they got all that overtime.
yeah.
And then the summers were, just a regular time, they could take some
So,
vacation.
So you're gonna pay him now?
Yeah.
As long as nobody objects, I'll ask the clerk to just pay them out, because that seems to be what they want.
It's
so,
money that's owed to them.
Yeah.
They have a right to it.
We're gonna pay it out anyway if they're over. So.
Right. Well, what we were trying to do with setting the policy this way was not have a policy where they could just come to the clerk anytime they wanted.
Right.
Right,
That was
well,
the
yeah, I
idea.
can
Yeah.
see, but
Yeah.
get to
Yeah.
this point, but they won't.
They just don't want to make comp time to use.
Right, exactly. Okay. there are some other things that came up. I wouldn't say anything particular to know other than I realized today that I wrote an email to all of you and I ended up sending it that we did have an issue with one of our employees where he went to the doctor and he needed to have a procedure done on his foot. So he appears to be able to do his job reasonably well with it, and he has a note from his doctor that he can work as long as he's able to rest it. And I've been checking with him make sure that he's, doing all right every day, as much as I can. And I thought it would be better to have him, I encouraged him to get treatment as soon as possible because it would be much worse for the town if he couldn't drive when the snow was flying. So it'd be better to take care of it now for his health as well as for the town. So
Was it work related?
it was not. No, it was not work related. Apparently, this is something that happened a couple of years ago, and he went for treatment then, and the doctor didn't seem to think anything was wrong with it, and it's kind of bothered him ever since. And finally, he went and got it looked at last week, and it was re-diagnosed with a fracture. So we have about a 6-week period where he's going to be in a cast, and it may be longer than that, but for now it appears that he's able to drive. So, and he's limited in other ways, but I think his highest value in the town is as a truck driver most of the time anyway. So they'll have to just orient their work so that he's not doing other stuff. And if it does become hard for him to drive, we talk about other things he can do. So far it seems to be going well. So again, I apologize that I meant to let you guys know about that. I called Steve about it, but I didn't get in touch with the rest of you because I thought I'd sent you an email. So I'm sorry about that.
You have personnel files in it, right?
Yes, I do.
So this is in there?
Yes, the work note and the when he reported it, when he got treatment.
Okay.
Alright. This, old business, of course we heard the salt shed stuff. Mill Street Sewer Project.
Oh, yes.
Going out to bid.
That went out for bid on Monday last week. So
Okay.
it's been published in the Messenger and on the
That
bid
would be-
registry.
When does that bid close?
I believe it's the 18th of October.
Okay. And public health complaints.
Right, so that was,
Under control or?
if you wanna talk about. So we, in addition to the complaint we heard about a couple meetings ago over on Pleasant Street near the old trailer park, we've had another complaint here in the village that Rick took a look at. And I don't know if you wanna talk about that, Rick? Yeah.
Sure, I mean, there's not much to say, so I went to Mr. Dunleavy's, his property down behind there, because they were there. That was available for me to get a good look at what was going on, but I mean, obviously, they have animals, lots of animals, I mean, several dogs annoyingly barking, and of course, someone strange on a nearby property. And farm animals, so I mean, I don't know how well everything is kept clean or not kept clean. I mean, it didn't stink, but obviously there's rodents around. You're gonna get that, I think, generally speaking.
Farm
You have
animal.
animals.
Farm animal feed.
Yeah, feed and whatever, yeah. But at any rate, so, I mean, that's a complaint. I attempted to make contact with the owner, but every time I seem to go by, there was no vehicle there. Like the old store, so.
Was it just about this, like, cleanliness, or was it about the animals not being part of the house and escaping, or?
Rats, basically rats
It's just
and
okay.
Rodent.
rodents, yeah. The Johnson residents have been trapping some of them by the garage there, but, you know, some of it, you know, there's a lot of thick brush between the houses back there. I mean, obviously, maybe some of that was thinned out, maybe there wouldn't be places to hide. I mean, you know, just a thought, I mean, but I have no idea. I mean, there's no ordinance in the town for animals and, you know, or in that general area, farm animals or what is too many, what isn't. The only real complaint for noise was the dogs barking. I guess that happens, the people on Main Street here complain and so forth.
So the dog barking problem is covered in, that is part of our dog ordinance. Technically, we don't have a noise ordinance per se, but there is a noise part in the dog ordinance. When Rick and I talked about this, there is sort of a, it's not a gray area exactly, but the state doesn't regulate farming activity if it's less than a certain acreage or number of animals. So there, and if the state does, if agency bag is involved, then there's, generally speaking, the town can't regulate things that the state does regulate. So it would appear that this is an area that the town could have, could regulate or intervene. The select board has powers to intervene with respect to public health and nuisances in general. And there are towns that have adopted ordinance for, backyard chickens, other small livestock or number of animals, etc. I don't know if that's something the select board wants to pursue looking at, or it's just between this and the other issue with the other property where it seemed to be more trash rather than animals. I'm not sure. There's an area where the select board can do something about it, but it would probably be a little bit more proper to have a procedure about that. Or obviously, in both cases, it would be great to, and it would be great to cooperate with the landowner in terms of trying to address the problem, and that is how the town health officer role is supposed to deal with it. So anyway, I guess we put it on the agenda to let you know this had happened, and I guess to inquire as to whether the select board has any interest in looking at what the town might be able to do in terms of a more formal regulation of this, or if that's, we have received complaints about animals, usually, roosters, other animals making noise or things like that. But those have kind of come and gone in terms of usually somebody takes care of the problem eventually. But anyway, I just wanted to bring it to your attention that there is something the town could do more. The select board could pursue something more substantial in terms of regulating this if you wanted to, and I could look into that.
Is there anything we can do to require, if there's a complaint against someone for rodents, that they are taking steps to mitigate the issue?
So yes, in that as the local board of health and with Rick as the health officer, you could issue a health order regarding something like this. Now that would initiate kind of a legal process that kind of plays
How
out,
many-
etc.
How many people have complained about this? Is it just Johnson?
No, it was 2 or 3 of the neighbors there that complained about it.
Okay.
You're saying
And this-
they're all trapping rats, but you're not trying to trap the rats. They're coming from your property. It kind of seems unfair.
Right.
Those idiots,
Well, and isn't that similar to what we agreed on for Laurel Drive, talking to?
Yeah, and I have reached out to the landowner, an attorney there, and I've not heard back from them about what's going on with their eviction proceeding and if they've taken any other action about that. So I'm gonna follow up with them to figure out where that case is at. But yeah, in general, it'd be nice if we can deal with this on a voluntary basis, but
Yeah, I think if we
Yeah.
can.
I mean, it seems a little more serious there in the other case.
I'd have to ask Rick, I didn't go down and look at it. But this has been an issue for a while as well.
Right, it's been an ongoing issue.
Yeah, I've heard.
Where are these
uh,
animals?
Behind the house, basically.
Down all the way down to the river or what?
It's pretty much up to the river, yeah. Yeah, well, Joe's got I guess he's got a right of way down next to the river there, but, and his right of way cuts through there. Yeah, and there's, several outbuildings, there's peacocks, there's geese and ducks and chickens, there's horses, several dogs and
Oh, yeah.
numerous goats down there.
Okay, yeah. Chickens too and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Fowl. Okay.
Everything's gotta be, well, what do you
But you
call it?
haven't actually spoke with
No, I haven't spoken to her, or,
the owner of the,
right.
so you haven't had a discussion, nothing, like, hey, maybe you need some, what, pest control.
Yep.
The, what was it, orchid man.
Taken care of how?
Right?
No,
Yeah.
Oh, it's that means, yeah, I think he and Demetrius met on.
Okay.
I think that's what this means, that when this category should be the road sign category. But he and Demetrius met on Thursday last week, and they have a plan to basically do that every Thursday. So
Gotcha.
as far as I know, it was dealt with.
I don't know if that machine's good or bad. So, Steve, I mean, it's, what is it, 17, so that's what, 8 years? 8 years old.
So we gotta just keep trying to get in contact with the.
yeah, I'm gonna have to make another trip there, 'cause I don't know, evidently she takes care of her mother, but I don't think
I
it's
think-
at home.
Yeah, I think
It's
they're-
somewhere else, so I don't, every time I go by, there's like no vehicle in the area.
So these are the neighbors on either side of this, and they're just, having much fun. Of course, all those houses gotta go out like this. That type of animal likes to dig.
I hope so.
Continue.
So I suppose nothing we can do until you talk to them, right?
Right.
Are you aware that they're rats?
Well,
Because your neighbors are?
well, they like animals.
Yeah.
I was included.
Good, yeah. I would try,
So my daughter picked up a pet rat that was thrown on the ice at a hockey game, and she took it home. A white rat.
She did what?
Is this during a rivalry game?
Yes, it was.
They don't allow that anymore.
No, I know, wow, they didn't allow it back then
They haven't allowed it
either.
for a long time.
What's that?
One of the two local high schools had hockey games going on. Anytime one of them scored, they'd throw rats on the ice to mock the other one.
Oh,
Live ones, yeah.
I guess.
Alright, anything else we need to cover?
We did, so circling back on the Parks and Recreation
Yep.
issue. So I met with, I guess I should have told you this during my report, but I thought we'd get to it now.
Yep.
So I met with Sabrina Stebbins about both the soccer facility. So last meeting, we talked about the needs on the soccer fields
Mm-hmm.
and then the needs on the baseball, softball field. Sabrina, on the baseball, softball field, Sabrina thinks that this, I said that you, in your discussion, you said the town would be willing to budget for that next year, provided that, some quotes are gotten so that you guys can plan that and maybe we'll look at some grant funding for that. Sabrina's hoping that, it sounds like the school's willing to contribute as well. Vern, Ruhover has done a project similar to that in St. Albans, I think, so it sounded like he was working on gathering that information for how much it would cost. And it also sounds like the Little League would contribute as well. So Sabrina was kind of thinking of a three-way split for the cost of that improvement. So the town might not, necessarily need to cover the entire thing. Again, if we could all find a grant, wouldn't be too hard to get. It would be worthwhile for everybody as well. So
Yep.
anyway, that's moving forward. I think
Okay.
we'll be on track to, you guys will be able to review that when you're making your budget decisions. On the soccer facilities, Sabrina gave me a quote for the soccer goals that they'd like to have both at the school field and then down below at on the lower field that's on the forest property. The upper goals would be like more permanent, be the larger permanent ones for the the older kids, and the other ones would be movable goals. So the grand total for those would be $4,725. Now that includes, they are manufactured, I think either overseas, so that's the shipping cost is a big part of that. So, but I did try to find like in the US suppliers for it, and it seemed like the prices were higher. So even though the shipping cost is high, it did seem like it was actually a pretty good deal. And then on the, I talked to Abby Miller about what benches they'd like to have, and the grand total for that comes to $1,177. So all together with the nets and the soccer goals and the benches, it would come to $5,902.42, which is within the budget that you have left for. I think we have about $6,100 left for Parks and Rec in this year's budget. So.
Those goals, they won't be in for this season anyway.
Right, that's a good, I don't know how long it would take to ship them, that's the thing, so.
Season's half done now.
Right, so, I mean, they probably get the benches in before the end of the year, because those are made in the country, but I don't know how long it would take to ship the goals. But, anyway, assuming that.
Those benches plastic.
No, they're, I think they're they're like the same as we have some outdoor benches out there already by the basketball court. They're very similar to that, but they don't have a back on it. It's got that plasticized, it's metal with a plasticized coating on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the same manufacturer as those, and they're poured up there, instead of being bolted to the ground, you can pick them up and move them, and so. So, assuming that those costs are all right with you, I'll just let Sabrina know that she can order those and send the bill to the town, or is that, you guys, if you wanna vote on it or not?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're also in the midst of a fundraiser, as well, so I know that they'll have funding to go towards that, and PTO also has money to put towards it.
Right. So,
Okay.
okay.
Why don't you work out the details?
Right, okay, alright,
Get that straightened out.
okay. I think that is it for the rest of the agenda, other than personnel.
Alright. We need to, go into executive session for personnel.
Make a motion, go into executive session for personnel and exit our normal, or adjourn our meeting upon exiting executive session.
Alright, I got a second on that.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
No.